Ukraine has said it stopped more than 18,000 men from crossing over illegally. And the border guards frequently post photos and videos of men being detained. And about 2 weeks ago, they put out a video on YouTube, and it was kind of a highly produced information segment with the clear goal of trying to deter men from leaving.
Вітаю, ви дивитесь Кордон.ua. Чому ріка Тиса стала згубним місцем для...
Yes, you can kind of hear there that ominous music.
It looks like a newscast.
It is, yeah, and it's basically a warning telling men not to escape and that they can die if they try. There are videos of the river between Ukraine and Romania, and the host says that 19 people have died trying to cross the Tisa River. And I wanted to read a quote from the host specifically. He said that people who cross the border can get caught or die. It can happen to anyone who dares to escape from a country where his peers with weapons in their hands are choosing our right not to be Russia. So, I mean, that is a very clear message to try to dissuade these men from following the thousands of others who have already crossed.
A message not only that they could die, but that there are other men who are choosing to fight for Ukraine.
That's part of it. And I think when we're talking to these men and they are not wanting to reveal their identities, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the legal repercussions of what it means to cross illegally. But you have to also imagine that it's very conflicted feelings. I mean, you have people who have been fighting in Ukraine on the front line for hundreds of days now, men who signed up at the beginning and are still there. And then their families are basically pleading with the government to demobilize some of these people who are just so exhausted from war. And then you have this other group that has left. It's a very divisive issue.
You connected with some of the people who are trying to offer passage out of Ukraine. In these sorts of situations, there's always somebody who is trying to help somebody else, perhaps for money or for other reasons. What did they tell you?
There's plenty of those people out there, and you can find them on Telegram, which is a very popular messaging platform in Ukraine. And I found several users who were advertising services to help get men out. I contacted one, and he said he could arrange transportation out of Moldova. It would cost just over 4,000 Canadian. That was kind of the equivalent. And he said that men wouldn't have to pay, though, until they reach the EU. Others offered other options. One said that for, the equivalent of $6,700 Canadian, he could make up a fake disability certificate, which a man would be able to show at the border and be able to leave through the checkpoint.
Not everybody is leaving, though. There are people, and we saw this, at the very beginning of the war, but this far in, there are also people who are headed back into Ukraine, right?
Certainly, and we saw that at the beginning where people returned, and even though the number of volunteers signing up has certainly diminished from the early days, there are still hundreds of thousands of people that Ukraine says are under arms in the country. And I spoke with a young man named Dmytro Trzynski, and he's a political scientist living in Western Ukraine, actually not far from the border with Romania. And he was out of the country during the initial weeks of the invasion. He was in Hungary. He was taking part in an international observer mission for the election. And he said he heard a lot of warnings from friends urging him to just not return, to stay out of the country. And he said he decided to return.
My decision was, and it was like my decision, you had to come back, knowing that, yes, you could be drafted, etc., etc. So martial law is the only way, rational way, when you have the real war. So it's not special military operation. We have invasion. This is the only response to such danger. This is the reaction of the country when people are people massively search the possibilities to pay bribe and to escape illegally. I'm not the person who is blaming people who escape. The problem is that they illegally do this. But, their reality is just one side of the reality. They made their choice. Look, of course, I'm afraid. You prepare yourself, every day. Right now, mentally, I'm more or less, okay, so I will be drafted. This is the life. It is what it is. Yeah, of course, I don't want to.
Now, he said he's registered with the military office, which men are required to do, and he realizes that he could be conscripted at any time. But he says that isn't changing how he lives his life, which is interesting because, speaking with other men, we've heard about them basically hiding at home, people changing their patterns, walking kind of circuitous routes to work so they can avoid walking past the draft office. But what Dimitro says is that he's carrying on as normal, knowing that he could be conscripted at any moment.
Just in the last couple of minutes that we have, how is the Ukrainian government handling all of this?
Well, the issue of mobilization is very contentious, and it comes at a time when, after nearly 2 years, in a lot of ways, Russia has the momentum on the battlefield. I mean, you had the top general of Ukraine say a couple of months ago that the war had basically evolved into a stalemate. It has become a battle of attrition.
Yan, hinaan ko na lang. Hinaan ko na lang. Hindi naman kailangan yung balita na yung pandito yan. Yon, sa mga nagpa-follow dito sa YT ko, sa mga nanonood lagi dito, sa mga tawag dito, sa mga regular viewers, yan, maraming salamat sa inyo. Alam ko kung gaano kahirap dito sa YT. Bibihira nga lang din ako dito tumambali sa YT. Ba. Ngayon lang yan. Trinay ko lang ngayon kasi hindi ako makapag-live sa Facebook. Lugi. Lugi. Meta, ba't naman ganon? Wala man lang warning, Meta. Inulit mo na naman yung ginawa mo sa akin. Kasi naranasan ko na kay FB, matagal na. Mga 2016, 2017. May time pa na nawala yung account ko nung matagal. Kasi niya. Dini-activate niya Facebook. Tapos pinag-send ako ng picture. Tapos naulit na naman ngayon. Grabe. Naulit-ulit ngayon. Ngayon grabe magbigay ng restriction si Meta. Hindi agad natatapos. Ang tagal nung processing. Dati kasi saglit lang yung mga 1 linggo. Ngayon may buwanan, di ba? Meron pa atang taon na alam ko eh. Talaga. Talagang luging-lugi. Eagles natin. Bakit hindi ako naka 4K dito sa YT? Dapat 4K na rin yung resolution dito eh. Yan, sa mga pumapasok, sa mga viewers natin eh. Nakikita ko kayo. Big shoutout sa inyo. Malaking pasalamat kasi nakarating kayo dito sa YT. Yan. Tamang repost nga lang ako tamang repost lang din ako sa Facebook nung live, nung link nung live dito sa YT. Ano yun? Ano sinasabi ni Brix? Yan sa mga pumapasok dito sa live ko. Salamat sa inyo ng marami. Ayan, umaangat yung viewers ko. Nakikita ako dito. Kahit mababa to, malaki to para sa akin. Kasi YT to eh. YT to, lalo na hindi ko platform tong YT. As in, ngayon lang din ako nag-i-start dito sa YT. Matagal na yung YT ko, pero ngayon lang ako nag-i-start halos. Kasi hindi naman sa totoo lang, tutok naman kami dati sa social media. Tutok kami sa lahat ng platforms. Halos din eh. Kaso, ayun nga, talagang may mga bagay na dapat mag-focus ka sa isa. Kasi kung hahatiin mo yung sarili mo sa marami, hindi ka, oo, magiging marunong ka sa lahat. Pero, kailangan talaga may isang bagay talaga na lulutang. Meron mga more than one. Tamang scroll lang ako sa wall ko. Yan, yung mga papasok ngayon dito. Kung nasan man kayong lupalop ng mundo, big shoutout sa inyo. At syempre, mapagpalang araw sa lahat. Mapagpalang umaga kung kami nasa dakong bansa na to, nasa dakong parte ng mundo na to. At kung nasa nga man ngayon, kung gabi man dyan, magandang gabi. Yeah. Alam mo, buti na lang din siguro na na-restrict ako sa FB kasi tingnan mo, na-try ko dito sa YouTube. Meron palang ganito. Pumapasok pala yung mga views din. Kaya, all good in the hood, di ba? Yan, so tamang tayo dito, tamang scrolling. Yan. Sama lang kayo sa scroll ko. Baka makita ko si Mama O dito eh. Yan. Ito nakakamiss yung mga ganito sa UAE, yung mga otaku may. Panalis din tong otaku eh. Pero, kung palinisan ng product at talagang quality, siguro ito talaga dito sa otaku. Pero kung gusto mo makita mga maganda, dito rin sa Canada. Marami rin pala dito. Yun oh. May bagong pasok na naman oh. May bagong pasok na naman. Shoutout sa'yo, Maji. Yan, kung ikaw ay nandito, Maji. Yabmats. Yan, pwede ka rin mag-iwan ng komento, Maji. Pwede tayong magkwentuhan dito, Maji. Dahil susubukan ko pa lang dito sa YT. Yeah. Lakas din ng nadating ng ganitong format. You know. Alright mga Amaji, so yun lang, sinubukan ko lang. At kayo'y magkaroon ng mapagpalang araw. Yan. At syempre, ano ba? Bahala na kayo dun kung ano pa yung idadagdag nyo sa araw nyo. Yeah. Peace.